Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we're looking at a brand new trigger for the CZ457. Now this trigger is coming to us from Jar Triggers, and they do make this in 3 different options. They are all single stage, but you do have 3 different pull weights available from the factory: 3 to 6, 7 to 10, and 11 to 12 ounces. Now this adjustment is just made via a spring that you can buy from them. So if you buy it in the 7 to 10 ounce configuration and you want to move to the 3 to 6, you're just a spring away from doing that. Now on paper, when you compare that to the Timney trigger, the Timneys for me break somewhere between 8 and 12 ounces and are also single stage and have a very crisp break. Obviously the Jar is single stage as well, and it also has a very crisp break, and it is a very nice overall trigger. However, there are 2 distinguishing differences, but let's head out to the range and do some shooting on a KYL so you can see this trigger in action. And then we're going to come back and talk about those 2 major differences. So the model we are shooting today is the 3 to 6 ounce Jar trigger, and this is currently pulling right at 3 to 4 ounces. It is single stage and it is a very crisp break. Ooh, nicked it. Let's get it better than that. Looked like it was right. There we go. And as you can tell, it is very easy to shoot. Like I said, this is pulling around 3 to 4 ounces. All right. So obviously this trigger runs very well. I've had no problems with it. Like the Timney, these are adjustable for over travel, spring weight, and sear engagement. And on a single stage trigger, that's all the adjustment you need. So these are both fully adjustable triggers. Now the 2 big differences I referred to earlier, one of those is fairly obvious, and that is pull weight. Obviously this is a 3 to 6 ounce Jar trigger, and there is just no way that you are getting a Timney to 3 ounces. In our trigger pull test, you'll have seen that this thing breaks at 3-ish ounces very consistently. 3 to 4 ounces, this thing is always in that ballpark. Now the next big difference is easier felt than seen on video. So I'll do my best to explain it to you, but there is slightly more trigger movement in the Jar trigger than when you were to compare it to a Timney. The Timney has just the tiniest amount of movement, and although it breaks heavier, it does have less overall trigger movement. That may or may not matter to you. I have really seen no negative to that on the Jar trigger, but when you're looking at the Jar trigger and when it breaks, the trigger does fall back. Now this is by design. I have talked to Jar. This is so that you cannot possibly engage the safety without this being cocked, but once cocked, you can engage the safety and it will make the trigger safe. So this is by design. It has really no impact on shooting that I've seen, but it is something that you will feel in your trigger finger, especially if you are coming from a Timney trigger or something like a Timney hit. So without dragging this video on even further, obviously these are both Really great triggers, really great options for the CZ457. With a Jard, you're going to be able to get down to that 3 to 6 ounce trigger pull. That is just not possible with the Timney. So if you're looking to do more shooting off the bench, maybe you want to shoot a little F-Class 22, or you just like triggers that are in that 3 to 6 ounce pull range, then the choice is going to be very easy for you, and you need to buy the Jard. If you are happy in the 10 to 12 ounce range, then obviously both these triggers are capable of doing that. Now, however, as I said, the Jard, you can just buy the spring and take that lighter later down the road if you want. But if you know you're going to stay in that 10 to 12 ounce range, and you want to trigger with as minimal movement as possible because that's just what you're used to, then I think you will still want to stick with the Timney. But it's going to be very hard to ignore the diversity of the Jard trigger, that pull weight, and the fact that you can just buy a spring and change this all the way from 3 to 12 ounces. So at the end of the day, I would highly recommend both the Jard and the Timney. I'm going to be running this Jard in a future project that's hopefully going to be pretty exciting for your CZ457 guys. We are going to do kind of an ultimate at-home build, so stay tuned for that. And more coming on CZ content. The Tikka content, I know I've been dragging my feet on getting that out, but that is coming. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next one.